Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and thank you for being here today. It is Saturday, the day before Easter, so I hope everyone has a happy Easter tomorrow. When you're watching this, hopefully it'll be up tomorrow or Monday or whenever you watch this. I hope you had a great Easter. It is a wonderful, beautiful day here in Indiana. The sun is shining. I've got all the windows open. It's actually daylight when I'm recording. So that's really nice. I feel like spring has sprung, so that has really got me in a good mood. But anyway, as always, if you are interested in tarot cards, tarot readings, true crime cases, unsolved crime cases, and the occasional candle making video, please consider subscribing. And for those of you who are coming back every week to watch these videos, I thank you so much. Today's case was another requested video, and that is the Madeleine McCann case. And I do have a paper here. I just want to go over some of the cases that have been requested just to let you know what's kind of on my list that I am working through. So I have the Jennifer Kessie case, I think, Jessica Chambers, Madison Scott, Stacy Peterson, Stephen Truscott, a man by the name of Colonel Russell Williams, Orrin and Orson West from California City, California. And then I have some questions about some specific suspects in the Delphi case. So that's like my short list. If I've missed anybody's requested video, please let me know in the comment section and I will add that to my list. I am trying to work through that list as quickly as I can, so everybody gets a chance to get their requested case heard. And so no real order that I'm going through it, just kind of randomly picking and trying to get through all of them. So please let me know if there's something that you would like to see. I do plan on doing another Delphi video soon. I'm probably going to be inserting a Watts video here and there, simply because I have landed on Watts Island and I can't seem to get off. So that has really... That one is crazy. I don't even want to get into that right now because I can go for hours on the Watts case right now. But anyway, today's video is going to be Madeleine McCann. That is another well-known case. I think most people are familiar with it. I think that there was a Netflix documentary on it, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Madeleine's parents, Kate and Jerry, were a part of that. But again, as always, I do want to give a basic background, just kind of talking about the timeline of that night and kind of what was going on. So nothing too detailed. I do try to write it up now so that I'm not, talking all over the place. So I am going to read what I have written down as far as the background, and then we'll get right into the tarot reading tonight. So let me see. All right, so where am I at here? All right, so let's just go over the basic timeline. On April 28th, 2007, Kate and Jerry, two physicians from the UK, arrived in Portugal with their three children, Maddie, who was 3, and 2-year-old twins. Their plans were to stay in this resort town for 7 days. Now, I can't remember the name of the resort town, but I'm sure somebody more familiar with the case will remind me. I just didn't look that up. So their plans were to stay in this resort town for 7 days. Once they arrived, they stayed in the infamous Unit 5A, which was a ground floor condo apartment type. I believe it was like an apartment. I kept thinking condo, but it was something like that. Okay, it wasn't like a hotel. All right, while they were there, they spent time with a few other people who were also on vacation who would eventually become known as the Tapas 7. They have been coined that name because they were attending the Tapas restaurant at the time of the disappearance as well as nights prior. These friends were also staying in apartments or condos near the McCann's apartment, and the Tapas 7 were, so all their apartments were in the same area, basically. So the Tapas 7 were actually leaving their children alone in their apartments while having dinner and drinks at the Tapas restaurant. Now, this restaurant was approximately a football field's distance away from where the families were located at the restaurant. The apartment doors were not visible from the table that they were eating at. However, they had a system where one of them would get up about every half hour or so and do a check on the kids. So let's jump ahead to May 3rd, okay, because this is when it all happens. Jerry puts Maddie and her siblings to bed around 7, and at 8 p.m., Jerry and Kate shared a bottle of wine, and then they were the first to arrive at the restaurant, at the Tapas restaurant, at 8:35 p.m. that evening. And then they waited for their friends to show up. Now, this particular night, they decided to leave the patio door of their apartment unlocked because earlier in the week, they had been leaving the door locked, but they were concerned that they would wake up the kids with the key, and so therefore decided to keep the door unlocked. Well, that was a good idea, right? Just leave the door unlocked? That's sarcasm. One thing I want to mention here is that after the other friends had arrived, they were reported as being a bit more rowdy than normal this particular night. Now, my personal opinion, my guess is that that bottle of wine they shared before they went to the restaurant probably had kicked in by then. So around 9 p.m., Jerry gets up to check on the kids, and when he approached the bedroom, he noticed that the door was open more than what he had initially left it at. Jerry found this to be strange, but he did not find anything else unusual or out of place. He closed the door a bit more and then left and went back to the Tapas restaurant. Around 9:15, another member of the group leaves to check on her own daughter, and as she's walking towards the apartment building, she notices a man walking away from the building holding a small child who appeared to be sleeping in his arms. I think she also reported that this little girl did not have any socks or shoes on, and it seemed a bit weird. She then proceeds to check on her own daughter and returns to the group at the restaurant. So that takes us up to 9:30. Around 9:30, Kate gets up to check on her children, but another member of the group was getting ready to check on his own children and offered to check on the McCann children as well. Kate takes him up on this offer. So the man notices that the door is open again, but was not aware of how the door had been previously closed by Jerry, so it did not concern him at the time. He looks in on his own kids, but never actually lays eyes on Madeleine. At 10 p.m., Kate now gets up to check on her own children. She now notices that the bedroom door was all the way open. Apparently, she tried to pull the door shut, but I think the cross ventilation made the door close kind of hard, which concerned her. She then opened the door to find the twins in their bed, but Madeleine was missing. Kate also noticed that the window was also open in the bedroom. Kate then leaves the twins again alone and runs back to the restaurant and tells everyone that Madeleine is missing. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe her exact words were, quote, "they've taken her," which was an odd statement to make. Police were called and arrived at about 10:30 p.m. So now this is where things become a bit complicated, because one could argue that some major mistakes were made at this point. For one, numerous people were allowed inside the apartment, possibly contaminating any evidence for any chance of any evidence to be collected properly. On the other hand, if you're looking at both sides of the coin, they didn't realize it was a crime scene at that point. But they also failed to notify any other agencies of the possible abduction. They never interviewed people that may have seen something or anything, and they didn't actually get a roadblock up until 10 a.m. the following morning. So now we all know, especially if you're part of the true crime community, that those first 24 hours are critical. So these early actions could have really botched this case from the first moment they arrived on the scene. So we know that the investigation went on for quite a while, and I believe the Scotland Yard became involved, as well as several private investigators were hired, but little Madeleine is still missing to this day, and we truly have no idea what happened to her. Some speculate Jerry and Kate may have played a role, whether directly or indirectly, and we surely can't say that they weren't negligent that evening or the evenings prior by leaving their children unattended in an unlocked apartment while they dined and drank with their friends, right? So, but they have maintained their innocence and even hired private investigators, so that is a major question we're going to ask the cards tonight. I also want to ask if someone abducted Madeleine from her bedroom and what may have ultimately happened to her. Who was the man seen walking away from the building holding a sleeping girl with no socks or shoes? Also, there's been a recent suspect who has recently made headlines named, I think his name is Christian B., that could have been involved, and I'll ask about him as well. I also want to add that there were cadaver dogs brought into the McCann apartment that did pick up the smell of death in a few places, including Kate's car, which is a little bit concerning because, this car was not rented until after Madeleine went missing. So if I'm not mistaken, the car that Kate rented later, the cadaver dogs did hit on, I think, in that car. So, let's keep that in mind. And of course, we have the strange way Kate and Jerry conduct themselves throughout the entire ordeal from beginning to end. One can't know how someone would react or will react in a situation like this, but Kate also wrote a book, and I have not read this book, but I have read reviews of this book, and there are some very strange and odd comments in it that I don't think would be considered normal. So we kind of have a lot of things to get into. But I do want to quickly go back to the checkings in on the kids. So right away as a parent, my kids are grown, but looking back on when they were that age, there was no way in hell I would leave my kids alone at 3 and 2. Anything could happen. God, they could get sick. They could throw up on something or choke on something. Anything can happen at that age, and 2 years old, I don't even know if kids at 2 sleep throughout the night without waking up at least a couple of times. I don't know. I haven't had a 2-year-old for 16 years, so I really don't know, but it does seem like a bit of a young age to leave your children alone at that time with an unlocked door in a strange country. Even in your own neighborhood, it's not really something I would do. But I don't think I left my kids home until they were probably 10 or 12. And even at that, it was something like I was running to the store to grab a gallon of milk, and I was maybe testing them to see how they would do, and I would get my butt back home as fast as I could. So this is several hours that they're leaving these children alone. But what I'm concerned about is how long was Madeleine gone before they actually noticed? Because we have the dad saying that he went in there and checked on her, and he noticed that the door was open a little bit further than what he knew he had left it at. I want to know if he too put eyes or didn't put eyes on his daughter. Did he really check and see if she was okay, or did he just kind of peek in and make sure he didn't hear anything and just kind of crept back out and assumed everything was okay? We don't really know. We know that the guy, the friend, one of the top of 7, when he went in to check, he did not put eyes on Madeleine. So we don't know if Madeleine was there at that time. We don't even know if Madeleine was there when Jerry went to check on them. We know that Madeleine wasn't there at 10:30 when Kate went to check on them. So we have no idea the timeline because there's so much, I think, I'm just going to say it, negligence on the parents' behalf in this situation. So we have a lot of questions to get into. Basically, we all want to know, and I didn't even write my questions. I try to make jot a few little notes as far as what questions I want to ask, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. But I do want to ask the main thing. Did the parents have anything to do with Madeleine's disappearance, whether it be, like I said, directly or indirectly? So I believe that there's also been some talk about whether or not they would possibly drug the children. So I'm going to ask that. And I do believe that when I pull 7 of Cups in any kind of true crime reading, I kind of look at the cards a little bit different than I would if I were doing a personal reading. So the 7 of Cups to me is a drugging card. That is what it is to me. So I feel like if the 7 of Cups comes up in any way, shape, or form, that it is a possibility that they were, in fact, maybe giving their children something to help them sleep so that they could go out and do their thing. So for tonight's reading, I have my new 2 favorite decks that I'm going to use. They're both by Lo Scarabeo. This is the Universal Weight, and this is the After Tarot. Definitely love these 2. I'm going to start with this one here, the Universal. Very accurate, and then I'll top it off with this if we get an opportunity. So first thing is first. Let me move this out of the way, and I'm going to shuffle and get some room here. And first question I want to ask out of the gate is, did Kate and Jerry have something to do with Madeleine's disappearance? Did Kate and Jerry have something to do with their daughter Madeleine's disappearance? Did Kate and Jerry have something to do with their daughter's disappearance? You know, was this an accidental death? They possibly covered it up. I don't know. So did Kate and Jerry... I honestly, this is one of those cases where I really truly don't have a personal opinion. Now, I think that these parents, all of them, not just Kate and Jerry, were irresponsible, and I just can't fathom leaving your small children alone like that for several hours while you're just out having a good old time. But as far as my personal opinion as to what truly happened, I don't have one in this case. I really don't. So this is going to be completely new for me. I've never pulled cards on this case before, so let's see what we got. So did Kate and Jerry have anything to do with Madeleine's disappearance? Oh, wow. What a card to pull for the first one, right? The moon. So there's definitely more to the story. We don't know everything, and this card kind of tells me that we may not know we may never know. We're looking at how many years has Madeleine been gone now? 15, 16 years. Chances are, I don't think that we're ever going to know the full story. But this is also a card of illusions. And I always sometimes will look at this card as possibly a little bit of trickery on behalf of the parents. So this is not a good card to pull as far as the parents being involved. So let me pull a couple more on this one. Did Kate and Jerry have anything to do with their daughter Madeleine going missing? Did Jerry and Kate have anything to do with this? So let me pull a couple here so I can kind of... Okay. Okay, now I usually don't read reversals. I don't... It's just not something that I will usually read in cards. And I usually... I just usually don't have them pop up. So I think, as a matter of fact, I think I must have put my cards back on the last reading, maybe did not straighten them up and put them back in the box like that, and I haven't used my cards since last week, and so that is why they're coming out reversed. And so the fact that they are coming out in reverse, I kind of feel like they are meant to be, so I'm just going to leave them at that. The two that are coming out reversed are concerning because I've got the King of Cups, okay, and the King of Wands. So I'm asking about the parents. I feel like there's something fishy going on with the parents. This is them, the Three of Wands. This is exploring ideas. This is thinking, planning, whatever. It can sometimes often mean travel. So to me, this is not a very good pull on the parents right away. The reversed Kings, to me, is like the worst side, the darker side of the personality. So the King of Cups, can be warm and charming and caring, but in a reversed King of Cups, he can be manipulative, he can be deceitful, he can be controlling. So same thing with the King of Wands. This can be somebody that is very dishonest. Okay, so that's a concern. this can be somebody domineering and hidden types of anger. Okay, so it's windy. Cups are feelings, emotions, and so this is somebody. I always call the King of Cups my poker face card. That's the way I look at it, whether it's upright or reversed. It's a poker face card. That's what I feel from it. I feel like it's somebody who can really hide their true or mask their true feelings. And the fact that these are coming out reversed with this moon is not good. And so this is actually making me look at Jerry a little bit differently. So something's going on with Jerry. Interesting. I didn't expect that. Something's going on with Jerry. And I feel like this is Jerry planning, trying to come up with something. He's trying to conjure up something. Something's going on with him. And this reversed King of Cups tells me that calm demeanor, that very calm, kind of nonchalant, aloof kind of attitude that he has during interviews is nothing but a put on. That's what this card here reverse tells me. That's a sham. Okay, he's putting that on for the camera. So there's something going on with them. Okay. All right, so let me put these aside. I'm just going to ask about Kate for a second. What's going on with Kate McCann? What kind of person is Kate McCann? What kind of person is Kate McCann? I feel like the dad came up in that one. So let's focus on Kate. What's going on with Kate? Oh my God. Okay, I must have put in a whole stack of cards reversed. This is throwing me. I usually, like I said, I don't read reversals, but I feel like for whatever reason, when I put these cards back in the deck the last time, they were meant to come out reversed this time around. So I am going to try my best to read these in reversals. So aces are new beginnings. They're good cards. They're that spark of an idea. They're a yes card when I'm asking yes or no questions. If I pull an ace, that's a yes. Now, if it were a reverse card like this, it would be a no. It would be a big no. So this is odd that there's something wrong. There's something off about these parents. Something's off about them, and I don't really like how the cards are going. It's odd. Okay, so this is, to me, this is what the mom wants. This is what look, we talked about a bottle of wine in the intro, and we've got the Three of Cups, which is a group of women literally smashing grapes, right, in a big chalice. So this is, to me, representing the mother and the top of seven, and just the fact that is where her mind was. Okay, she was not worried about the children. She was not concerned about the children. At least I don't feel she was with this card here. So this is where her mind was. She's more concerned about the social life than anything else. So what else can we learn about Kate? Okay, so interesting. We have a door. We have a doorway. The Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is typically a communication. Just the regular definition of the Eight of Wands is communication. So this makes me wonder, and it is an 8. So, and we've got what, the top of 7, right? And so I kind of feel like, is this card coming out because this whole group is on the same page as far as what they're reporting, as far as their story is? Are they all kind of working together, for a common story, sticking together? Is there something else? I feel like with that moon coming out, that there's something else that happened that night, and none of them are reporting it. I feel like with the 8 coming out, and the 3 of Cups, and what was the other one? Definitely that moon. I feel like we're not getting the full story of what happened that night, and we're not going to get it because all 7, and I don't know if the 7 was including Kate and Jerry. I'm assuming it does. So, all 7 of them are just sticking to their guns, and they're reporting what they need to report. But there is a rainbow. And so if I'm reading on someone that is missing and we don't know really what happened to them, that rainbow kind of gives me and I hate saying this, but the rainbow kind of makes me feel like it's possible that, little Maddie may not be on this earth anymore. So I haven't really pulled enough cards to say that definitively, but we'll see what else comes out. But this is like my first kind of clue that that's a possibility. Very interesting. All right, so let's see what happened that night on May 3rd. So what happened that night on May 3rd? What's going on? Let's see. Ooh, we've got that. Again, we have another ace, and it is reversed. So I'm getting a ton of reversals tonight, which is really odd to work because I just don't usually keep my cards. I don't shuffle them in a reversed way. So, yeah, this is, aces to me are always positive vibe cards. They're good cards. And so the fact that it's coming out reversed is not a good sign. All right, take us back to that evening. What's the story here? What happened on May 3rd? So let's pull a few of them and see. Oh. Okay. So we've got the Justice. Oh, the High Priestess. Okay, so look, we've got another three. We've got the Three of Pentacles. So between the Three of Cups and the Three of Pentacles, this is definitely there's something peculiar about the top of seven. This tells me that it's a possibility that all of these people are aware of possibly what happened that night, and they're all sticking together, and they're going to cover each other no matter what. They're not talking. This was a teamwork effort. Possibly there was some disagreements in how to move forward. This tells me I'm almost getting to the point to where I feel like something may have happened accidentally, and there was some discussion between them as to how to proceed. And I don't think that they all necessarily agreed. I'm not even necessarily sure. I kind of feel like this is referring to Kate and Jerry specifically because of this Two of Cups. I don't feel like Kate and Jerry agreed as far as how to follow through on whatever may have happened to her. And that'll be my next question, is if we can figure out what happened to Madeleine. But I don't feel like the parents themselves even agreed on how to handle the situation. And they definitely had it out, I think, but eventually when they finally decided on it, they stuck with it, and they've stuck with it ever since. So with the High Priestess, this tells me that there are definite secrets about this night. With the Moon and the High Priestess, these are things that sometimes the High Priestess definitely is a secretive type thing, right? That I get secrets from that card. That's just what I pull from that card. And that with the Moon tells me that there is some sort of story that they've concocted, and that's the story that we're all aware of. But I don't believe that that's actually the story. Now, the Justice card, usually when that comes out, I always feel like that's a good sign that justice could possibly still prevail in this case. However, look at the baby. This Justice card has a baby in it, which is unusual. And the baby is blindfolded. So very, very interesting. It almost makes me think that this baby could be Madeleine. I think that this young infant refers to Madeleine, and I do think that, honestly, based on, and I have to say that this is just, I'm just going to throw it in there about the entertainment. I know people don't like that, and they get turned off when I say that, but I feel like I do have to say that for my own safety, or not safety, but you know what I'm trying to say. I kind of do feel like something possibly happened as an accident to Madeleine that night, and all of the parents are aware of it, and they're all sticking together like glue. They are sticking together. Not one of them is talking. Again, I don't think that Jerry and Kate agreed on how to deal with the situation at first. I think they argued about it, but eventually they finally stuck to a plan. But I do think that this is definitely Madeleine. And interesting that she's blindfolded, which makes me feel like she is not even aware. It almost makes me feel like she doesn't even know what happened. Let me just pull a couple of cards on Madeleine. So what's going on? What can we learn about Madeleine McCann that night? I'm sorry, guys. I feel a little out of it because, honestly, I didn't expect these types of cards to come up. I know I said I didn't really have an opinion, and I didn't, but I really just offhandedly thought that the parents were maybe just negligent at best. So this is kind of really throwing me. And then, of course, I'm going to ask about the Christian B guy and see what comes up with him. But right now, I'm literally zoned in on the parents. These are not good cards for them. What happened to Madeleine on May 3rd, 2007? What happened to Madeleine on May 3rd, 2007? Knight of Swords. The Lovers. Page of Wands. The Chariot. All right, so to me, the Lovers is Jerry and Kate. I honestly, with this spread, I'm shocked about it, and I do believe that Jerry and Kate have something to do with this. I mean, Mom and Dad keep coming up. I pulled the Two of Cups earlier. To me, that's Mom and Dad. And I've got the Lovers. And I'm specifically asking about Madeleine. What happened with Madeleine? And I pull the Lovers. To me, that is, without a doubt, that is Mom and Dad. So something's going on with Mom and Dad. And then we've got the Knight of Swords, okay, which is, the act itself. To me, it's whatever they did, okay? The Knight of Swords is not a good card. I mean, if it were an overdose or an accidental overdose on drugs, like I said, I would expect that Seven of Cups to come out or something along those lines. But this here is action. This is some form of action that took place that caused something to happen. So that's concerning. And then we have the Page of Wands, which is... It's definitely not Madeleine. That's not Madeleine. Let me come back to that one. And then we've got the Chariot. So, when I was reading my intro, I did bring up the fact that the cadaver dogs did hit on a scent in Kate's car. I think it was testing for blood or I'm not quite sure, but if I'm not mistaken, I think I remember hearing Kate's explanation for it, and she said it was something about one of the twins had a bloody nose, and she thought that it was the blood of the twins or one of the twins that this cadaver dog picked up on. So, you can't really prove or disprove that. It's hard, and it's possible that that happened, but now we've got a Chariot, we've got a car. Okay, so this can definitely represent a modern day car. So we've got a car that we're looking at here. And we've got that, what is that, a lobster or crab or something on there? My eye literally just went to that. I think is it a crab or a lobster? I'm not sure. I think it's a crab. I've never even noticed that on that Chariot before, but my eye just went right to it, and when I see crab, I think of water. That's what I think of. I think of beach, water, and I believe that this resort was near water. So we've got a car, and we've got something that connects that car to a beach of some sort. So that's actually not good. Okay. So this is, like I said, this is really throwing me off. To me, the Page of Wands would be just, this is somebody who is not yet matured, is basically what it is. Sometimes it can represent a person that's on a new spiritual path. This could have been the turning point that their life changed. This could be just simply representing the turning point. They made a choice, something devastating happened, they made a choice on how to deal with it. And it was something that they probably didn't necessarily plan out. It was unexpected. So that's what I think this card is representing. What I want to know is, I'm just going to ask a yes or no. Was this an accident? Yes or no? Was this an accident? Yes or no? Was whatever happened to Madeleine an accident? Because I am picking up I'm picking up the vibe that it was an accident, whatever it was, but that the possible disposal and the story about the abduction was conjured up by the parents, and possibly the top of 7 are aware of it and are also involved in the cover-up and supporting the parents' story. So that's kind of the story that I'm getting so far with tonight's pull, which is not what I was expecting. So yes or no, was this an accident? Oh my God, we've got the 7 of Cups. Okay. All right. So, I do believe it was an accident, and I do believe it's a possibility that the children, at least Madeleine, was possibly given something to help her sleep. Man, oh God, this is horrible. I did tell you guys, I said, if that 7 of Cups comes up, I do believe that there's a possibility that there were drugs involved, some sort of whatever it is. Now, these guys are physicians, or if I can talk, physicians. So these are doctors. These are guys that aren't dumb, or at least you wouldn't expect them to be dumb, right? You would expect them to have some common sense. And if they are drugging their children, you would expect them to know what they're doing. And not like if you're drugging your children, you're aware of what you're doing. I mean, I can't even... You wouldn't expect this from 2 doctor parents. Then again, if you look at the flip side of it, perhaps they even had access to things that us lay people out here in the non-medical field have access to. Were they using something that wasn't over the counter? Was this more than just a little bit of NyQuil or a little bit of Benadryl? Was this something prescription? So let me ask that. Was this a prescription? Yes or no? Was this something that they got from their hospital? Yes or no? Well, I think that whatever it is that they got, it eats them alive to this day, which it should. I really do. I think that this was, honestly, the more I pull here, I feel like this was an accidental overdose, possibly. And the story that they came up with is just that, a story. But they know what they did. Okay, they know what they're doing. Everybody involved in that group knows what they're doing if they're in on it. And I feel like this is just saying that this is the result. I mean, this is literally eating them alive to this very day. I really do believe that. With that 9 of Swords, I mean, they're not sleeping. They are just not functioning. I mean, they're functioning, but they know this is eating them alive. They know what they did. And so I do feel like that follows them to this day. So I also want to ask, let me see. Okay, I just had a question in my mind. I know what I wanted to ask. Why are they hiring private investigators? I feel like, and that was another reason why I wasn't really expecting this reading to go like this is because they have hired private investigators. So that tells me that they are literally looking into this case. So if you're hiring a private investigator and you know that you're guilty of something, why would you hire that private investigator? Wouldn't you fear that you would be found out or that they would discover it? Or was this just somebody that they hired that was just a PR thing, that it wasn't really anyone looking into the case? Or, I don't know. So I want to ask about the private investigator. Why would Kate and Jerry hire a private investigator if they were actually guilty of something? Oh, okay, yeah. So the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is that I honestly, I feel like it's for show. I do. I think that this is like a PR stunt. They're doing everything that they can to make it seem like they're innocent. And I do feel like this is that Knight of Cups, that lover, kind of proper old-fashioned kind of a love card, new relationship, but it's also a player. Okay, this is a person who doesn't mean what he's saying or what he's doing. Okay, this is not the person that is going to marry you and have children with you. This is the person that wants to date you among plus 20 other girls. Okay, so this is a player. This is a player card. So this tells me that it is just for show. It's for kicks. I really do think that they hired an investigator to make it look like they truly wanted to know what happened. Was the investigator a real investigator? Yes or no? 10 of Cups. So this kind of, as a yes or a no, this is a yes. Okay, this is a yes card for me. However, this also makes me feel of a group of people sticking together. Ooh, you know what? I didn't even realize how much sun was on this table here. I might have to close the curtain. This actually makes me feel like this is a possible group and that they're all sticking together. Look, they're all facing in the same direction. They've got their cup up and raised to the big chalice, like they're, kind of giving a toast. And they're all dressed alike. They're all doing the exact same thing. This makes me feel like this investigator was all part of it. I really do. This particular 10 of Cups. Let me shut the curtains. Okay, so this 10 of Cups makes me feel like it was part of the plan. Like this investigator is part of it, knows exactly what he was doing. It was just a PR stunt. So, let's see. Let's see if we can find out what ended up happening to Madeleine. Where was she? Where was she put? Where is she now? So let's pull on Madeleine. Let's pull on Madeleine. Interesting. We've got a lot of older women cards. So definitely the Four of Wands is a celebratory card. Usually sometimes it can represent a marriage. Okay, 4, the number of stability. So this is to me, I think, honestly, I feel like this is the beginning of Madeleine's life. There was some stability. She did have a really good 3-year childhood. Okay, it was definitely unexpected. I do feel like with these 2 cards here, these 2 queens, I do feel like she has passed over, just with the water and the sky. Those types of symbols kind of give me that vibration. I'm still going to pull another couple of cards on that to be sure. I kind of don't feel like she's on this earth anymore, unfortunately. And that Queen of Swords, that's a tough one. The Queen of Swords is, somebody I always say you don't want to mess with this person. that kind of actually makes me think of Kate, to be honest with you. And look, in this particular deck, she's beheaded somebody. She's literally cut the head off this guy. So that kind of tells me that, because this is Madeleine's question, so I've got to look at it in a connection to Madeleine. And I do think that this is mom. And so I think that both of these are mom. I think that mom has a double personality. I think that she can be very loving and very kind and very generous, just like the Queen of Cups, but she can also be very cold and cruel. So very interesting that these two came out. Mom is coming out in Madeleine's reading. The Nine of Pentacles, that is, that's an abundance card. That's what it is. It's abundance. It's abundance that was accrued over a long period of time. It was brought in by hard work. It didn't happen overnight, as represented by the snails. That's slow. So these are obviously parents that have worked hard. They're educated. They've earned what they have. It was a decent life. Okay. But there's something going on with mom. Okay, so I don't think, and remember, we pulled that King of Cups reversed, and so that is also somebody who has a double personality. I'm actually kind of feeling like both of these parents have some major issues. I think they both have double and I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just reading the cards, okay? But I feel like both of these parents have a hidden self. They both have a public and they have a private self, okay? So these are parents, both of them, not just one, but both of them are coming out with different personalities. That's scary. So, to go back to this Four of Wands, because I did say a little bit about it, that it was representing Maddie's life in the beginning, but I kind of now feel like this is again what they tried to present to the world, that everything was good and everything was happy. So I kind of am retracting what I said originally about the Four of Wands, because after kind of going through these cards, I'm now wondering if this is just the facade that they're putting on to the public, but we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. There's something not right with these two individuals. So what happened to Maddie, though? What's going on with Madeleine? What happened to Madeleine McCann? What happened to Madeleine McCann? Oh. So we've got the Two of Pentacles, and we've got a snake, okay? Lo Scarabeo does have a lot of snakes in his cards, and so I always look at the snake as a serpent. It doesn't always have to be something negative, but that's just my association with a snake. I feel like it's something negative, and so we've got that, and usually that's juggle. That's a juggling card, okay? Balance, trying to maintain some balance. And so that actually kind of makes me feel like there was some sort of a decision that needed to be made. So I honestly am kind of guessing that maybe there was an accidental death and they needed to figure out how they were going to deal with this. Do they do they come out and be honest and possibly lose their licenses? Do they lose their way of living? Is that fake facade that they have on for everyone, the public, is that going to crumble down? Their happy home is going to be no longer happy. So this kind of makes me feel like there was a juggle of how are we going to move forward? Are we going to report what happened and risk our life crumbling, or are we just going to try to cover up? There's really at this point nothing that we can do. We can't bring her back. So how are we going to salvage the rest of our lives and still deal with this? The Five of Pentacles is not making me feel good about Madeleine. I really... I'm going to ask a yes or no question about Madeleine here in a second, but this is not good. What happened to Madeleine? Cold. This is, yeah, that's not a good one. All right, so what happened? Okay, let me just ask yes or no. I usually don't do this on whether someone's alive or not, but I do want to ask, is Madeleine alive? Is Madeleine alive? Okay, the Ten of Wands came out. So definitely if this had been the Ten of Swords, that would be a hard no, and I think everybody would agree with that as being a no, but this to me is meaning kind of the same thing, because in tarot you have 1, which are your aces, and then all the way up to 10. So from an ace to a 10 is a cycle. Okay, we go through several cycles a day. We go through a ton of cycles in a lifetime. Okay, and we repeat those cycles. So when one thing ends, another begins. Okay, whether it's something small, whether you're writing a paper for school, right? You start with an ace, the idea of what you're going to write about, and then you start maybe you go into the 2, which is your decision. You're going to choose a topic, and then 3, you're going to start planning and making notes, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. And so the 10 is going to be the final paper, right? So that's how I look at numbers in tarot. So you can apply that. You can apply that 0 or 1 through 10 on anything. It can be a major thing like graduating high school or getting married, but we are going through these cycles in our life continuously, constantly, okay? And so when I see 10s, it does represent an end, okay, to something, an ending, okay? And then after that, of course, is a new beginning. So when I'm asking about Madeleine and whether or not she's still alive, I pull a 10, and so that is an ending. That's an ending card, okay? And again, even after 10, it's never ending. We restart, and so I do feel like she restarted, but not in this realm, okay? So more in the spirit realm, and wands are earth, okay? So they do represent spirit. They represent our will, our essence, who we are. And so I do feel like this is definitely saying, yes, it was an ending here, but it was not necessarily an ending, a transition into a different realm, and there's a new beginning there, if that makes sense. So I do feel like she is no longer here on Earth. And I'm beginning to feel like there's something going on with the parents here. So let me go ahead and pull a few cards in the other deck and see what we can get. I have not even asked about the guy, Christian B. I kind of forgot about him with the way this card reading went. So let me ask yes or no if Christian B had anything to do with Madeleine's disappearance. Christian B have anything to do with Madeleine's disappearance? Yeah, this reading has really thrown me for a loop. This is not what I expected. Did Christian B have anything to do with Madeleine's disappearance? Did Christian B have anything to do with Madeleine's disappearance? Did Christian B? So we've got the Ten of Cups again. Actually, I'm going to pull a couple more cards on this. Did Christian B have anything to do with this, with Madeleine's disappearance? All right, so I now again, as a yes or a no, this is a positive card, and so it would definitely be a yes, and it is a 10. It's another 10. It's the 10 of Cups. So I'm not really quite sure what to make of this. I don't think that this guy is very much of a good guy. But I think this is kind of redirecting me to the group. I feel like, honestly, this is a no, he didn't. I honestly feel like, because I pulled the Ten of Cups in the last tarot deck, I feel like this is going back and saying, no, it's the 10 of cups, it's the 10 of group, it's this group of people, it's this specific, it's the family. So I do feel like it's redirecting me to the family. The Page of Pentacles, that is, that is a young idea, this is kind of the Page of Pentacles. I'm not quite sure why this is coming out. This kind of makes me feel like, he was not in an opportunity where he could have done this. Now, I think I read something, because I did try to Google it up yesterday, and I did read that I don't know much about this Christian guy, but I think they said he was living in the area when the McCanns were on vacation. So he was very close by. I don't know how close, but this tells me that the opportunity was not quite available. There's something going on with, we've got the 8. We've got the Strength card. So that's trust. I think that this Page of Pentacles is saying that he didn't quite have the opportunity. I don't think the opportunity was there yet. This is a guy that looks for opportunity. I'm not sure that the opportunity was there, or that he even knew anything about them. Now, let's pull in the Strength card to that. We've got trust. And who do you trust, right? You trust your family, right? You trust, or at least you should be able to trust your family. So this kind of makes me feel like, again, I'm being redirected to the family, I think, in this situation. And it's somebody that, it's someone that Madeleine trusted. I don't think that this guy has anything to do with it. I think it was the family, and Madeleine trusted her family, and that's what it ended up being. So, very interesting. Let me go ahead and pull a few more cards just to see if... I'm kind of curious. Let me see, what time am I at? Oh, I'm not doing bad, 56 minutes. I want to know how Kate and Jerry are mentally today. Now, I pulled that 9 of Swords, and so I feel like this eats them alive every day to this day. But I want to pull a few more cards just to see what their mindset is today. They're still juggling. They're still balancing. Oh, they know what they did. They know what they did. Oh, wow. I might end it on that one. Wow, very interesting 3 cards. So they're still doing the juggling act. They're still trying to put this fake persona of them to the public. They're trying to maintain their innocence to the public. I mean, look, they're entertaining. They're literally entertaining. This guy is entertaining for the people behind him. So they're entertaining us, is what it is. And they're trying to very hard keep the secret of what they know happened that night. And see, one thing I notice about this particular deck, I really, really love that this High Priestess is holding these keys. And it just makes me feel like she has the keys to, the secret, right? She holds the key. She's got the answers. And so I feel like the secret lies within the parents, okay? But we are not. I don't know if we're going to get justice on this earth, but this Judgment card is coming. So, karma is a bitch, and I do feel like karma is going to get them eventually. I don't definitely think that it's going to happen here. I think that their lies are too strong. I think that they have been doing a very good job juggling this act. It's not easy. You can tell by the waters and the waves that things haven't been easy for them. But as far as how they're handling it, I'm going to just stick with that 9 of Swords, the 9 of Swords, and I do feel like it does eat at them, but they are maintaining this act, this facade, and I think that they will continue to do so. But they're the ones that hold the key to the story of what I believe happened to Madeleine. And they will. And this Judgment here, this is kind of another card that maybe makes me feel that Madeleine is no longer here on Earth. I do feel like I'm going to say I feel like she's in heaven. She's definitely where she needs to be. Not needs to be, but you know what I mean. But look at this here. Isn't this so crazy? I just thought about this. I just looked at this. We've got 3 children, right? Or 3 people up here. We've got this child, a woman, and a man. And then we've got these 2 down here. And they're being called up into heaven, right? And so these ones are being accepted, and we've got 3. So I feel like, eventually we're all going to pass over, right? And I honestly feel like in this case, we're talking about the McCann family. We've got 5 people in this card, right? Plus the angel. So we've got possibly the twins, we've got Madeleine. And not saying that there's anything, I'm just saying possibly, in the future, God forbid. I'm just looking at the number of family members here. I see everyone going up into heaven except for these 2 down here. Okay, that's my point. So I think that mom and dad have a lot of inner demons and some karma coming to them eventually. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen here on earth. I really don't. I think their karma is coming in the next world. But as far as Madeleine, I do think that she is definitely in heaven. If you believe in that, I do. So this was interesting. This was an interesting read. Did not expect the cards to come out like this. I admit the reversals threw me because I don't read reversals. Not that I don't read them, but I'm still... I don't know all of the reversals. I just try to use my intuition and my gut instinct and think about what that card means in an upright fashion and kind of tweak that a little bit. And so I did want to leave them. I wanted to leave them as reversals because I felt like that happened for a reason. When cards come out, they fall out for a reason. When one drops, it falls for a reason. When it comes out reversed, it comes out that way for a reason. So I did want to read it and give you the definition of what I feel it is. So I think I'm going to end it there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's reading. Very sad case. I feel like mom and dad are... something's not right with mom and dad. I hope they don't sue me or anything, but I don't know. I don't think they'll see it, so it's whatever. But very interesting. So until next week, guys, have a wonderful week. Enjoy your wonderful weather. Hopefully you guys have wonderful weather wherever you're at. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get an extra video in this week. I'm going to try, but no, I don't want to make any promises. But until the next time, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful week and a wonderful Easter. Be safe.